This just into CBS Sports HQ. Former Texas coach Chris Beard is the leading candidate to become the next head coach at Ole Miss. That's the latest from our Matt Norlander. Beard was fired by the Longhorns in February, 2 months after his arrest on charges of domestic violence. Those charges were later dropped. Ole Miss looking for a new coach after firing Kermit Davis a little more than 2 weeks ago. Let's bring in CBS Sports college basketball writer Matt Norlander for the latest on this. Matt, tell us where things are at right now. I understand the two sides are talking. What's the latest?
Yeah, the two sides are talking, and Chris Beard has had multiple meetings with Ole Miss brass and he has met in person with them. So he is a leading candidate, but as one source expressed to me on Wednesday afternoon, there are still significant hurdles that need to be cleared in order for Chris Beard to actually become the next head coach at Ole Miss. So it's fair to identify him right now as the leading candidate. It's also fair to say that this is not a guarantee it will happen, but this information is now out there. And frankly, because it is out there and because of the nature in which Chris Beard was fired from Texas, and yes, the felony domestic charge against him was dropped. His fiancee recanted some of her statement to police from the initial incident. Still, you will have public reaction to this, and undoubtedly there will be some blowback, understandably so. So it would not surprise me whatsoever if the president, the athletic director, and others in positions of power of that university take in the noise that is going to come with a headline like this over the next day or two. But it's my understanding that if Chris Beard does wind up indeed being the next head coach at Ole Miss, this is not an expected course where this will have resolution in the afternoon or early evening hours on Wednesday. I'm told that this will still take a little bit more time for them to sort out. Ole Miss, by the way, plays a conference tournament game against South Carolina on Wednesday night. So this has leaked. Don't exactly know if Ole Miss wanted it to leak, but it has leaked nonetheless. And Beard is he's a controversial candidate. There's no doubt about it. But at this hour, he is the top candidate among a few that they are still considering.
Matt, is this one of those situations where, really it's not going to get resolution until they hear from the fan base as a whole in terms of, what it would mean for them to bring Beard in? Obviously his record speaks for itself. The guy's been to 5 NCAA tournaments. He's led 3 different teams, 2 successful tournament runs. So, is this a matter of just gauging the fan base at this point with the leak before making that final decision about whether or not to bring Beard in?
Jeremy, it's a fair question, but it is not a matter of that. My understanding is that it is very much a legal matter. There are significant legal hurdles that need to be cleared, and people that are paid handsomely to make significant decisions at the University of Mississippi are still not done vetting Chris Beard, doing their diligence. Obviously, if he were to be hired, the language in that contract would be fairly strict, and understandably and rightfully so, if we even get there. So this is not just let's just put our finger in the air and see which way the wind's blowing and have that help guide our decision. No, there are behind closed doors, there are significant decisions and steps that need to be made to even get Beard to that point. He is a leading candidate. Ole Miss is considering other candidates at this point, but if the questions that need to be answered and the hurdles that need to be cleared, if Ole Miss is comfortable with this, then it is heading toward a direction where Chris Beard is the next head coach. We are not there yet.
So, Matt, you mentioned other candidates. Who are a couple of the other names that Ole Miss would be looking at if Beard is not the guy?
Well, names that Ole Miss should be looking into are the likes of Dusty May at Florida Atlantic, has a connection with that athletic director, and Florida Atlantic obviously is in the midst of its best season ever, certainly going to be a single-digit seed. He is one that could come up. Ron Hunter at Tulane nearby, also another name that should be under consideration there. And then we kind of wait and see how the next couple of weeks, or the next week really goes with this, because as you mentioned this, Jeremy, I will note that Ole Miss fired Kermit Davis, more than a week ago. It got out ahead of this carousel process specifically because of this intent. Ole Miss, I had a source tell me a week ago, its plan the entire time has been to have a head coach in place by the start of the NCAA tournament. And one of the biggest reasons for that is the NCAA transfer portal will open for any player that wants to put their name in. It opens on Monday after Selection Sunday. If you have a head coach in place by then or the day or two after, it would give you an advantage over other schools that are about to and are soon to make a coaching change. So Ole Miss is targeting to put someone in place there as soon as possible. It's just a matter of, if it's Beard, that can happen in the coming days. If it's not, and they're targeting someone else that's coaching another team, then you sit and wait, and you're not able to get the guy in coinciding with the portal, which has become a major factor in recruiting.
Time is of the essence when it comes to Ole Miss. Of course, it's a wait and see, as you said. Our college basketball writer Matt Norlander joining us here to discuss the latest on the Ole Miss coaching situation. Chris Beard, the leading candidate, but as Matt pointed out very succinctly, there is still a lot of things that have to be sorted out before he can be given the job officially. All right, the Eye on College Basketball podcast. I'm sure Matt and the team will be talking more about this. Him and Gary Parrish. Chip Patterson's making an appearance this week. The crew giving you tournament previews for the Big East, the Big 12, the Pac-12, ACC, SEC, Big 10, all those conference tournaments getting underway. Plus, of course, they'll be talking about Gonzaga's hot streak. You can download and follow the Eye on College Basketball wherever you get your podcasts, or just scan that QR code.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.